Hey, what's up, y'all? So I decided to, since HBO charged me that $14.99, because I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do another little recap of Insecure season 4, episode 4. Um, so the episode opens up with Issa working on her block party flyers, and let me see, somebody dropped off named Schoolboy Q and Roy Choi. We don't have Roy Choi. He's not going to be there. So her headliner dropped off. Um, and she heard a knock on the door, and it was all of her residents. Um, I believe the main one that everybody keeps talking about is her name Keisha. I'm not sure, but she's a mess. But she was wrapped in a towel, and they were all complaining that they didn't have any water. And she said, "Do I look like a magician to you?" And so apparently Issa, since she's the apartment manager, she forgot that I guess the water was going to be turned off, and she didn't send out notifications. And by the way, I hate that when my apartments do that. They don't send any notifications, and you'll hear knocks on the door for um, their quarterly pest inspections and whatever else that they do. But then I'm saying, daggone, and then they'll let themselves in. So, but anyways, one of the tenants was talking about he can't run an Airbnb like that, and he says like, you're not supposed to be running an Airbnb out of your apartment. And he was talking about how the white folks wouldn't appreciate that. That was crazy. One of them was complaining about how Issa's apartment smells like flowers, and I'm kind of like, why is that a bad thing? Um, let's see. So then they keep doing these time sequences. So that's kind of throwing me off. They say that the block party is a month away, and we enter Molly's apartment, which, she has that really nice, classy apartment. She got rollers in her hair. And she's working all night on this project in not in pajamas. And I guess she remembers now that she hears a knock on the door, and it's Andrew, and she's like taking the rollers out of her hair, smelling her armpits and all this and that. They're all kissing and stuff. And he jokes that why she took so long to answer the door. She's like, is the dude sneaking down a fire escape? Because I don't think that building has a fire escape anyway. Um, so she's, working, and, they're starting to get that kissy stuff, and she's like, she has to work. She has to finish her work, basically. And she said, I'll be back at 9 o'clock. So I don't know what time it was at that point. But he gets up she looks at her watch, whatever, when she's done, or the clock, whatever. I don't know. This episode was so draggy to me. But it was like almost 2 o'clock in the morning, and he was in the bed sleeping. Um, she came in there getting them riled up, so I guess they do their thing. And then Issa, she's working, at her kitchen table, answers her phone, pretending to be her own assistant. That was kind of funny. I know a lot of people probably do that. The printer is calling, and he needs her notes on a block party flyers by 5 p.m. that day. And the only problem is Issa can't find Condola. I can't stand that name. I don't know what that is. Because she was supposed to look over the flyers and make suggestions. Condola isn't returning her texts or calls. And poor Issa has no idea that Condola is ghosting her because of an argument she had with Lawrence over Thanksgiving. So I think it's more than that. So Molly, she's back at the office now. She's those two female attorneys she kind of had got off to a bad foot with in a previous season. They're all buddy buddy now, and they're having their little fun and their conversations about the young dude that works there. And they basically saying the young dude just likes white girls because he's ate 6 salads and he's only been there 2 weeks or something like that. And the one girl, she said she's got to go home to cook her kids a proper meal because they've been eating pie crust. And Stacy cancels her date with her hookup buddy. And Molly hesitates and ultimately decides to cancel her listening party date with Andrew in order to finish up at work. Molly tells Felicia and Stacy that Andrew understands her workload, but does he? I'm confused about Andrew. So then we see Issa driving to Tiffany's house because she had the baby. Tiffany and Derek's house. When everyone, all the friends are visiting, Issa Pizza parking lot, but when she backs in and someone pulls in behind her, and then that's Molly, and they keep, I guess being confused about even the parking space. So Issa just ended up parking somewhere else. Let's see. Just Issa and Molly have been having awkward conversations about like if she left her yoga mat at Issa's apartment, are they still gonna be doing self-care Sundays? And they have to pick another day soon. So Derek and Lawrence, they're standing over the baby, and the baby's name is Simone's crib, admiring her, and Derek asked Lawrence if he wanted to pick her up, and he says he doesn't want to drop her because he dropped a burrito earlier, and he's like, nope, yeah, you're not picking up my baby. And Derek, he's worried about when the little girl gets older because the boys that will come to our house will dog her the way that he dogged his younger days. So that's the thing guys don't understand. Everybody is a daughter. So at one point. So Derek, he seems to be embracing parenthood more than Tiffany. Um, Tiffany, she's like talking about the fakeness of other moms who are all about keeping up their appearances, and Tiffany don't look like Tiffany. She look like a new mom. So that was interesting to see. And Tiffany was drinking wine, and they put in this information about how the doctors weren't listening to her when she complained about not feeling well, and it turned out she had a blood clot. And Derek was after the nurses for not listening to her. So this has been going on for a long time with black women and high mortality rates. They check out the story with I think it was Judge Hatchett, and her daughter-in-law had passed away because she had a baby, and the doctors wouldn't listen to her, and she ended up bleeding out. I'm not sure. So Molly kind of skips the subject about that, and she talks about Andrew being a perfect partner for her. And Issa, she jokingly calls Molly Jada Pinkett Smith, talking about, oh, we're about to do a red table talk. And Molly takes another dig at Issa about baby clothes and leaves with Tiffany to see the baby. When they're alone, Issa, she asks Kelly if Molly has said anything, and does, Molly seem to be acting different to her. And Kelly says, let's see, Kelly says, tells Issa to confront Molly about her attitude, but Issa says Molly sees her how she sees her. Before Issa and Kelly can further unpack the issue, Lawrence steps in the room and motions Issa over for a private chat. Molly spots Issa and Lawrence together from the baby's room, which overlooks the backyard, and judges Issa. Shortly after, Molly tells Andrew over text she can't go to the movies that night because she has to work. Molly then asks Tiffany if Issa said something about her, and Tiffany says no. She thinks Andrew and Molly would have adorable Janae Aiko kids. Molly is fixated on Issa. Tiffany says it's a breakdown in communication. Tiffany calls Issa and Lawrence's relationship complicated. Issa and Lawrence are just shooting the breeze, talking about the baby looks like Kelly, and that the baby doesn't look like the baby's parents. So Lawrence was about to tell Issa something, and it had to be about Condola, and I was waiting to see what that was, but they got interrupted because Issa's phone rang, and his Schoolboy Q's team, and that's when the dude, he's backing out the show without the explanation, leaving Issa to scramble and find a new headliner. Issa doesn't have time to keep talking to Lawrence because she has to go. And so Issa keeps having these conversations in the mirror, which she's been doing in season 1, but this time the mirror character is doing something different than her actual self. So that's a little interesting. Molly and Andrew had went out on a date, and she wanted to spend the whole night with him, and she said that he said that he had poker plans, and she was upset about that. And he said he made plans because he figured Molly would have work like she had been for weeks. And one thing that happened was Nathan had called and left a message on Issa's phone, because I guess Nathan and Andrew are still roommates. So that's another little nugget they threw in for us. So Issa was brainstorming at the taco truck, and she discovers a possible headliner on Instagram, and she calls Molly in hopes that Molly can connect her with Andrew, who works at Live Nation. And Molly, she answered the phone hoping to vent to Issa about her stressful week, is disappointed when she realizes Issa wants a favor and immediately feels used. Molly says she will ask Andrew and see if he can help, but later, when Molly pops over Andrew's and brings a cake and champagne, she and Andrew make up. She's not going to help Issa after all, and she told her so. Molly told Issa that she wants to keep her romance separated from her friendships. I really don't know what to say about this, too. This episode was kind of it seemed like just a filler episode. It was just long and dry. I kind of get the feeling that this is going to be the last season, even though I don't want it to be. So let me know what you guys think about the episode. Like I said, it was real dry, and when it starts getting good, it cuts off. So guys, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. I will see you guys next time.